Hello and welcome to track 2, the M14 Industries track, and we are about to see Poland play the Philippines. My name is Melodrama, and I am here with Holly. Yep, and playing the Polish national anthem being the Mazurek Dąbrowskiego. And then after that, we will be coming in with the Filipino national anthem, the Lupang Hinirang. And that was the Mazurek Dąbrowskiego, the national anthem for Poland. And welcome to everyone at home watching this playoff. This will be the last game in the World Cup for both these teams. Poland playing in the red and the Philippines playing in the white. And today playing for Poland. In the red, we have 1-2 Adam, 1-2-5 Rickrolled, 1-3 Ziladal, number 1-7 Pika, 2-4-7 Little Joker, 33 Gregski, 3-6-0 Mad Science, 4-2 Photon Torpedo, 5 Cash Overflow, 6-1-4 Special K, 7 Pico, 77 Unique D, 79 Radar, 81 Brutal Impact, 88 Black Blizzard, and on their bench we have Cupid Stunt and Nikki Situation.
Colterell out on the line now for the Philippines, and for the Polish team, it is number 42, Photon Torpedo. Here we go. We jam right away to the Philippines.
And Colterell having an absolute cracker of a tournament. He is the lead jammer for the Philippines in a very high rotation. Team Philippines only coming together for this tournament, many of them not having met each other until Wednesday of this week.
It's number 247 Joker. First penalty of the game coming in. Poland losing the block into the penalty box.
Little Joker denied the opportunity to add anything onto Poland's score.
7-0 Philippines going into jam number 2. Coaches for the Philippines are Sarah Manuel, Antonio Calabosa, Christina Stang, and Ana Barros. Pika now on the line for forward.
Buswego jamming for the Philippines. He's up against Pika. Interesting that Poland chose to wait until they got all the way to the back of the blockers before calling that jam off. It usually shows a little bit of confidence that they don't feel they need to pull any extra time off the board, and that tactic not working in their favour, losing 1 point.
Welcome to the jam line by both jammers as well.
Cheese balls bearing penalty box does have at least one occupant. Here we go.
Radar jamming for Poland, up against Maya for the Philippines.
And picks up lead for Poland.
Poland picking up lead.
And for the second time, we're seeing a jammer chase down.
Here's jammer, shoulder to jammer. And Poland doing the same thing, waiting until they got to the back of the pack before calling that jam off. No points given away this time.
Nothing for the second time in a row. 8-0.
See that in the vmix.com replay. Thank you so much to vmix for supporting us at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup.
On the line for Poland. Oh, the Philippines jammer starting in the penalty box.
So Poland getting the lead for the last
Just at the end of that previous jam, so we're going to look at a power start for Poland, and Adam is on the line. Throws some shoulders in, splits that walls apart. Brilliant, almost like escalator doors opening up. Philippines now settling around the Polish jammer. Polish team coming in to provide that offensive play.
Big hit by Acosta. And he is sent to the cheese ball bearing penalty box for that hit.
Mejia now released from the cheese balls bearing penalty box. Hits the back of the pack just as Adam is able to get the lead, but knocked to the outside line. That pack stretching out across turn number 4.
And Adam muscling his way through.
Yeah, Bruce Payne doing a very good job to slow him down, but not able to quite hold off.
Maya trying to get the star away to Bruce Payne. Not quite able to get the panty in the other hand.
We have now had that star pass, but Bruce Payne facing off at the front. Oh, I do apologise, he's not. He's there as the pivot.
Maya looking very confused about whether the jam was called or whether there was a track cut. It was neither. And that jam called off, 4 points added to Poland's score. Poland playing in the red and Philippines in the white today.
First points for Poland. So those 4 points collected there are the first points on the board for Poland. Poland at 4, Philippines at 8. We've had 4.5 minutes of this game disappear so far. We're going to see Terrell again for the Philippines on the jam line. And that is Pika for Poland. Both jammers having had lead jammer previously. So this will be a fight to see who can maintain their 100% leads. It goes to Terrell.
Terrell with plenty of pace. Pika yet to come out of the pack. Terrell spinning into his scoring pass. Bruce Payne out of the cheese ball bearing penalty box. Some confusion there with the Filipino blockers. Bruce Payne sent back to the cheese ball penalty box.
That's a big loss for Philippines. He's very effective on track, but they are still in control. And just as I say that, Terrell calls that jam to an end. So they are going to start down a player each. We have Rick Rolled also in the penalty box for Poland. So 3 for 3 on the track as we go into jam number 6. But Danny Buswego for Philippines will be up against Photon Torpedo. Official timeout called, so we can just give you the Philippines roster. They are playing in white, and they are fielding today number 11, Joe Cruz, number 138, Jordan Acosta, number 161, Michael Sinkioko, number 1939, Bruce Payne, number 2, Philip Salvador, number 2018, Raleigh Vasquez, number 22, Danny Busuego, number 32, Cole Terrell, number 33, Richard San Agustin, number 494, Jerry Quintadvano, and number 82, Randy Mejia.
And the Philippines bringing lots of bench staff. We've got Sarah Manuel, Antonio Calaboso, Christina Stang, and Anna Baruso. Philippines playing with fewer players than most of the other teams here at the World Cup. They've brought 11 with them. I believe it was 15 was the maximum for this particular tournament. So their players in a much higher rotation. They're also a bit more vulnerable in terms of accumulating penalties. So that'll be something to watch, especially at a game at this level, where everyone is just pushing the envelope a little bit more.
They certainly are going to be pushing. They're looking to pick up a win. Both of these teams having had no wins so far in this tournament, and this is the first World Cup tournament for both of these teams, Philippines and Poland.
Just a reminder, if you're watching at home, if you would like to grab yourself some merch, the official Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2018 merchandise will be available online as soon as the tournament finishes. So jump on, choose what you want, and then you can make an order online through
MRDWC.com/merch. And if you are part of the skating family, don't forget to check out the Quad Skate Shop, Europe's original brick-and-mortar skate shop. Outstanding selection with a delivery guarantee. You can also check them out online at quadrollerskateshop.com. If you're watching, tweet in MRDWC2018 with a hashtag beginning of that, please.
There's just some conferral about what is happening in terms of the officials' timeout. Referee's just making sure that everything is in play.
So they were looking to upgrade the misconduct on Bruce Payne up to a gross misconduct and asking for him to be removed from the game. That is not happening. It's currently standing just at the original penalty of misconduct. Poland's bench, Cupid Stunt, is currently still chatting to Igor Maniak, the head referee for this game. So there is still a little bit of sort of communication between the officials and the bench staff before we go back into the action in this game.
So there's still a fair bit of derby left for today.
Yeah, we are starting to track off placement games now. So as we said, this is the 23rd, 24th place game. We do have the 21-22 game taking place on the RDC track 1, but stick with us on the M14 Industries track here, track 2. Photon Torpedo up against Busuego. Busuego pushing through the middle, picking up lead for the Philippines. Photon Torpedo knocked to the outside and now to the inside. And that pullback by Acosta and Vasquez holds him before that pivot line. Not able to break as yet. Dancing around the outside. How did he stay in? That was unbelievable. Photon Torpedo.
Looked a little bit like he was charging in with his head, but managing to avoid any penalty or any misconduct. Gets on past, scores a quick 1 point, and calls that jam off, denying Poland of any points. So Philippines from that jam, 6 points 8-0. Philippines now comfortably on 17, with Poland on 4, with 23 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah.
Terrell consistent, as we saw in his previous games in this tournament. He is 2 for 2 with lead jam, 3 for 3 with lead jammer status.
Just racking up those stats. Poland reset to the back of the pack as Terrell hits just in front of the pivot line. Radar being knocked out at the front and recycled back. The pack still on turn number 1. Radar being pulled back by Vasquez.
Poland with a blocker in the penalty, cheese ball bearing penalty box for a multiplayer block. 5-point pass there for the Philippines. Radar still plugging away at the back of the track.
Both jammers being recycled back. The pack doesn't move that far.
And Terrell managing to get on through. No pass at no point. So that's a 4-point pass. He did lap the jammer.
Got a star pass over to Little Joker for Poland. He shuffles down to the floor. It looks like he's picked up a cut penalty. It may well be that his foot came outside of the track just as he slid down to the floor there. Oh, and a cut also to Terrell. So a quick turnout on the jammers. Little Joker now back on track, and we're going to have another 40 seconds of this jam.
And Terrell back on the track as well. Each jam is serving the same length of penalty as each other.
Little Joker just trying to get shoulders through. He's quite a short player in consideration to the Philippines. So he's trying to get underneath their shoulders. We have got some offensive play for Poland in the form of Radar. And they're just holding a 3-wall at the back with Terrell.
Radar managing to clear Mayer away, but not able to help Little Joker out.
And Terrell takes a stumble to the inside, very steady getting back onto his feet. But he is back on track. Had a quick look to see there was only a few seconds left in that jam.
Managing to push Little Joker back until the end of that jam. Another successful jam for the Philippines, 15 added to their score.
We just got some clarification for points on Poland, just to be fed back. Jammer referee is still just discussing with the OPRs. Check out Roller Derby Elite. They continue to match luxury with technology, whether you play in a competitive league or skate in the street with your friends. It's all about the experience. So go out there and skate. rollerderbyelite.com. Going into the next jam, we're going to see Pika for Poland up against Buswega. Buswega finding that inside line, breaks, lead going to Philippines.
Buswega loves the inside line. He does it so confidently as well, makes it look like it's no effort at all.
Oh, attempts that apex leap. It's taken down to the ground, holding his head at the moment.
He's getting up, not real quickly, but he'd get up all the same. Wasn't careful enough of who he had passed. Gets assessed for a track cut.
And misconduct. So that's 2 penalties. He may be because he just skated through the infield whilst attempting to exit for the box. I know he was holding his face, but that looks like 2 penalties. So this is a large power jam opportunity for Poland, and Pika still trying to push through, gets around the shoulders, a good inside sweep from Poland, breaking free, but Acosta comes up with that final hit, not able to hold Pika out, and that is more points on the board for Poland.
And Poland breaking their what is that word?
I do not know.
Breaking their drought for points, the first that they've scored in 4 jams. So this will be a good way to get their momentum started in the right direction. Pika adding another 5-point pass.
They're doing it a very steady but quite effective sweep here. They're letting Pika come in, take the team to one side, and then that offensive team was coming in and just sweeping the pack out of the way. But they've reset now with the threat of Basuego coming out from the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box.
Basuego still not standing in the penalty box. So more than 10 seconds left on his penalty. That looks like it will give Poland a power start. Oh, gosh, he's right in front of me.
Basuego having been released, it's the pivot, Bruce Payne, who was returned back to the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. So it isn't a power start, but Philippines down their pivot at the start of the next jam.
Maya out on the jam line for the Philippines.
It's going to be up against Photon Torpedo for Poland. Poland a blocker advantage. They set up with offensive play. Philippines just set all the way around them. Down that line, but it wasn't. It was not on the inside of it. Mejia going to the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. And this is now another power jam in favor of Poland.
Photon trying for the outside line. Just a little bump from Vasquez. And that sends him back to the jammer line. Poland trying to outrun the blockers.
No.
Photon nearly staying in bounds. He is now very unsure as to whether to re-enter or not. Called that jam off. Wow.
No, he's been issued the cut.
Oh, that would have been a toe in that.
May well be that he was, because he's due to calling the jam rather than leaving the track, he's been issued that penalty. So now we're going to see Mejia back on track, bouncing up the inside and the outside. Just a little bit of a shove from his teammate. Poland having to roll forwards now, but that gives them momentum to knock Mejia out on turn number 2. And the recycle takes back to the midpoint of 1 and 2. Philippines setting up at the back. A little bit of offensive play coming in the form.
Leaving a 2-wall to take on Photon Torpedo. And that is enough to bump him out of bounds. Torpedo having some difficulty on that specific part of the track there. And he marches on up the inside line, completing his 5-point pass.
Matched by Mejia, who finally breaks 3 out of the pack.
Multiplayer block called on the Polish blocker 247. That's Lil Joker. And he'll be going to the Cheese Ball Bearing penalty box.
Team timeout called by the Philippines. Lead jams are pretty even for the two teams. So that is a 4 lead jams for Poland compared to 5 lead jams for the Philippines. The score's creeping back together as well. We've only got 11 points between the two teams as we pause here almost at the quarter mark of this game. So yeah, still very good to watch, still lots happening on track. Poland certainly, I mean, both teams, as we said, this is their first World Cup. You're telling me about Philippines only having practiced this very week before going into it as a full team. So both teams settling in as the tournament goes on, and you can see they're starting to pick up their strategies, you're starting to pick up the different styles of play, and it's really interesting to see these teams develop over the small amount of games that they've had so far.
It does take a lot of focus and discipline to be able to act as a cohesive unit, and you know, watching the Philippines being able to pull that off is quite a credit to them. Really little things like how you rest on with the rest of the team in between jams is a factor. And you know, how do you support your teammates? You know, do you do it quietly? Do you have a Zen bench, or do you help supporting by cheering?
Yeah, they seem to have gone for quite a settled, focused approach, and it's working in their favor. Radar for Poland picking up a penalty. Cutting penalty, so this is now a power jam in favour of the Philippines. I also see Bruce Payne in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. That appears to be his 4th penalty so far, so he's quite penalty heavy for the Philippines.
Terrell trying to get a toe ahead, unable to maintain that. He's driven back to turn 2. Radar back out on the track. Bruce Payne back out on the track. Nobody in the cheese ball bearing penalty box. Radar marching his way, trying to get over the top of Acosta. No pass, no penalty called. Blocking out of play, I believe, given to Acosta. And after that 5-point pass, Terrell pulls that jam off. Philippines in the front, 42, leading Poland's 26. There's still 14 minutes left in this first half. And Adam back on the jammer line for Poland. He got lead jam last time. Been looking to do the same, of course. He's bouncing players off his chest. And he's through his lead. San Agostino sent to the penalty box for blocking out of play.
That was just pure force and determination from Adam. I am getting through, and you are not stopping me.
And they certainly did not. Does the same thing marching through the inside, but that is assessed a track cut. He's off to the cheese ball bearing penalty box, taking his time getting off the track there. Very lucky to avoid the insubordination call.
The field of play appears to be as long as you maintain your angle or an angle towards the outside, the referees and the officials will not assess the penalty.
And certainly there was no interference with any of the other players, so that's all got to factor in your favour. Vasquez off to the penalty box as well.
Basuego now just trying to push through, find space on the outside line. Last line of defense has to give up.
Adam back on the track. Philippines caught napping.
But switching up very quickly. Has some good reactions there, despite the lack of focus. We're saying the Philippines very focused team, so it's unusual to see it slip from the team in white.
And Adam makes his way through. He's given 4 points for that. Forearm block assessed on Basuego, and this gives Adam another power jam.
Yeah, Basuego has actually given up 3 power jams already in this game. But as we know, Philippines are running such a low jammer rotation that it is hard for the jammers to ensure that they stay clean and that they, as soon as you start picking up the odd penalty, it's going to add up very quickly onto your tally.
And that was a great jam from the Philippines. In spite of the fact that they've lost their jammer, they did add 19 points to their score. The total being 61 for the Philippines, 33 for Poland.
Just taking a quick official timeout, just to clarify times and calls.
It's been a bit of a power jam spiral here, 5 in a row.
Just getting them all out of the way.
Yeah.
Just get them all out of the way at the beginning.
The whole game's quota all at once. Lots of high scores as a result, lots of scoring passes. Very vocal support there in the crowd from Poland.
Photon Torpedo going for that straightaway jumper, just knocked out. Darts from the outside to the in, all the way to the out. There's a bit of pace on him now. Can he break the pack with the Philippines? Recycle, how did they get back in front of him? That was brilliant recycling from Philippines.
That was fantastic pace by the Philippines. Showing a lot of cohesion in their footwork, just the way that they waterfalled in front of each other.
They start playing as such a small unit as well. They are going to start to learn each other's play very quickly. So despite the short amount of time, they have picked up lead. That's taken a whole lap to pick up lead jam for Boswego.
Nearly 45 seconds, I believe.
Photon Torpedo not far behind.
Philippines looking very strong right now. 62 points, leading 33.
We have an empty cheese balls bearings penalty box, which means we are going to be able to field 4 for 4 blockers. Terrell, the jammer for the Philippines, up against Radar for Poland.
Poland trying to grab a position out the front of the pack. Juki in the back, Radar is trying to make his way through and does so to pick up lead for Poland. Terrell is standing in the penalty cheese ball bearing penalty box.
Poland doing a very good job here of pulling penalties on the Philippines whilst their jammers working their way through, making each successive pass a little bit easier.
Salvador joining San Agustin in the cheese ball bearing penalty box. I've noticed the Filipino blockers a little bit tardy in getting themselves to the penalty box, and that is adding time to their penalty. Your time doesn't start until your bottom hits that seat. So the amount of time it takes you to get there is added on.
It is. They may just be fatigues. They are a short roster team. This is a very high impact game already. And they know it's running for the full hour as well, so they may just be having to conserve their energy with the low roster they've built.
It is also the third day of a long tournament, so again, all of these things factoring in. And there's been a star pass for the Philippines. That is Sinchioka wearing the star now. And he's managed to pick up an extra point. But a very successful jam for Poland, 14 points added to their score. Closing the gap.
16 points now between the two teams.
It's actually 14 now. I missed the extra 2 for Poland.
Woohoo. Poland's Pika picking up lead jammer. Goes for the apex leap, but is straight into the back of one of the Philippine players, and that is a misconduct penalty for Pika.
Striking anyone in the air is a misconduct, and that, of course, is a safety issue. So Maya does get the power jam, but he is not the lead jammer, so this jam will go for the full 2 minutes, which is a bit over 1 minute, 15 seconds left.
A straightaway jump completed by Maya, and Poland are drawn out and have to reset. Vasquez going in to try and break apart the Polish wall as Mejia hits. Taken down by a 2-all at the front, taken down again to the inside line. But gets back up and carries on, picking up a set of 5 points.
Pika managing to break through that Filipino wall. He adds 4 to their score. 29 seconds left in this jam. More points to Poland.
Oh, Pika just knocked out by his own blocker. Unfortunate there as he was just getting a bit of speed to break free from that pack. As we see them turning around now into turn number 4. Poland set up at the front now, trying to hold back Mejia.
Unique D assessed as having blocked with his head. He is off to the cheese ball bearing penalty box. Points all around and an official review being called by Poland. Currently that jam has given the Philippines 11 points and Poland 4 points. But we will see what ends up happening.
Yep. Oh, Poland's extra points just added on, so that's 9 in that jam, so it's taking them up to 58.
That was a long time to have only a 2-point net difference.
Yeah.
And that will work in the Philippines' favour most likely. Whoever can get out in front is going to have the advantage by running down the clock.
So we've just paused, just over 6 minutes remaining in this period. And if you are watching along at home, please do send in your tweets, hashtag MRDWC2018. Let us know what's going on. You've got a viewing party, take some pictures, send them in. If you've got a cat, send that in. Our head announcer really loves the pictures of cats, so do send in some pictures of cats, especially if they are watching as well. And we do have to give a shout out to Bruce skate straps. If your skates don't just quite fit right, don't let foot or heel slippage mess with your game. Check out bruised skate straps. They wrap around your boot and plate to keep your feet in place so you can improve agility. Be better with bruised skate straps. bruisedsn.com. Just been keeping a little mini track of penalties. Just whilst the officials have a confer regarding the official review that's been called. Poland don't appear to have that many. We've got 9 in total.
But spread across 7 players.
Yeah, Pika picking up 2 penalties, and they were both jammer penalties. Whereas if we flip over to the Philippines, we have got 16 in total with 6 jammer penalties, 3 of those for Danny Busuego. Bruce Payne currently sitting with 4 penalties as well.
And with Danny Busuego and Cole Terrell being the main jammers for the Philippines, they're going to be wanting to watch Busuego's penalties. There's no way that they would want him to foul out of this game.
Not at all. Mejia has jammed, picked up a couple of penalties also for the Philippines. But he's been the only stand-in jammer for them with the switches between Busuego and Terrell for the rest of the game. Philippines have played other jammers in previous games as well, so they may start to look and lean on a couple of their other backup jammers, as it were. But yeah, Busuego really does need to try and keep a little bit cleaner, maybe take his action down a little bit. Just make sure he's staying in those
Red
lines.
team used their official review,
the inside line and the outside line.
asking for a
for each
out of play
catching
block
all the track
on
cuts.
White's
Bruce
team.
Payne, of course,
Cole
is
will
one
not
of
be issued.
their
Thank you.
backup. All right, referees have assessed that official review. They wanted a penalty assessed. It was referees are sticking by their original judgment, and the official review has been lost by Poland.
Penalty's been issued
For a forearm. Photon Torpedo serving some time in the cheese ball bearing penalty box, and that gives Busuego the power start.
We were just talking about power jams in favour of Poland, but they are now looking to equal the amount that they've given. Busuego calling that jam to an end. Probably sensible decision if Philippines know he's on the amount of penalties he's on. So taking away that, making sure they retain the control of the jam, taking away the possibility of an additional penalty for Busuego. Especially if Poland were going to be looking to play quite heavy, as it were, going into that to try and slow Busuego down. And they've switched to have the power start with Terrell.
And Terrell taking absolute advantage of that power start. With the Filipino blockers staying right where they were there, ready to except for Tone Torpedo, but he manages to sneak through the inside line and completes his initial pass. Terrell trying for the one-footed pass, doesn't quite land it, scores the 4 and then calls that jam off. Just over 4 minutes left in this first half, and the Philippines are ahead by 30 points.
They've managed to stretch it out a little bit. Poland are chipping away, but not with enough ferocity and not holding Philippines to a 0 when they do so. So yeah, Philippines are just creeping it away. Still anybody's game as Adam that takes on at Basuego. Adam just knocked to the outside line and recycled back. Basuego also finding the same fate as he's taken to the outside, comes back almost to the jammer line from the pivot line. Basuego now just trying to throw his hips around as Adam pushing through. And lead goes to Basuego.
And that, of course, is his 5th out of the last 6 jams that he's managed to capture lead.
I believe this is the first time Adam's not received lead as well.
And that was a straightaway jump by Basuego. Finds him on the ground, though, but it also gave him 3 points.
Basuego, having finished a couple of the previous jams, looking in a little bit of discomfort. He's certainly not happy with himself. He's continuing to play, and again, that may be another reason why they're pulling him off, calling the short jams, even when they've got power jams in their favour. So yeah, the Filipino jammer perhaps not in tip-top condition for this game, but as you said, day 3 of a very long tournament for a very short roster of players.
Radar jamming for Poland in the red. He's stuck behind that wall of Filipino blockers. Terrell ducking and weaving behind and completing his initial pass. Pardon me, his scoring pass. That's 5 points added. Grabbing the jammer lap point. Radar unable to get clear of number 2 from the Philippines, Salvador.
Mejia was sent to the penalty box for a back block penalty. Oh, and a cut now issued to Terrell. So this power jam has switched in the opposite direction, and it switches back as Radar picks up a cut penalty as well.
And the Philippines really running away with the leads, but these power jam situations are going to be a problem in the future.
So we have Terrell back on track. We also have Mejia back on track. 2 very powerful players here for the Philippines.
Radar straight up the back of the Filipino blockers.
Poland resetting at the front, just catching Terrell as he comes in from the inside line. A cut's been issued. 2nd penalty for Radar in this jam.
An insubordination penalty being given
to Brutal Impact, who was sent off for a forearm previously. I believe that was due to the not leaving the track. That was issued by one of the OPRs.
We have seen a few of those at this tournament. Certainly a couple in this game already. Power jams being a big feature of this game. So far, just under half of the jams that we've had have been power jams. 8 out of the 18 jams that we've had.
That is a crazy high statistic.
And the Philippines mixing up their jammers, bringing on Sinchino, pardon me, Sinchico.
Sinchioko.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Said it fine just now.
Sinchioko taking a star pass in this half already, but as we've been advised, yes, it is his first time starting with the star on his helmet. This is, I believe, to give their jamming trio a break. Busuego, we know, potentially is in some discomfort. And we saw both Terrell and Mejia on track in that previous jam, both of them picking up penalties in that previous jam as well. So they're having to have a little bit of a shake-up.
You see Terrell in the centre there, talking to the referees.
Poland fielding 3 blockers as they have one in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. We're going to be seeing Black Blizzard, Little Joker, and the captain, Rick Rold, who will be trying to slow down and or stop Sinchioko, doing the best that they can do. It looks like the Philippines might be setting up for some offensive play. Might be. They might be.
Why wouldn't they? Really?
Of course they should.
So this one's the 9th power jam, I believe, out of 19 jams.
They're enjoying them.
Just an aerial shot there of Team Philippines. Certainly for their bench staff, really bringing the standard of dress for bench staff up a notch.
They're just interacting with our house announcers who are standing behind them. So, yeah, Philippines just enjoying themselves certainly in this tournament, which is grand to see.
Thank you to all of our referees and non-skating officials. As you can see them in there, taking their job just so seriously and doing such a fantastic job all tournament. The calls have been really consistent of a very high level, and we've been very appreciative of the work that they've been doing. Thank you also to our streaming team. It's an extremely difficult job. We're very well aware that there have been some difficulties with the internet stream that's been going out over the last couple of days. We've worked very, very hard to try and fix those for you. So hopefully you can hear our dulcet tones clear and easy at home right now.
Whether you want to or not.
I can see a lot of nodding going on in the centre. Maybe what they're talking about is actually Roller Derby Elite. Roller Derby Elite is the brand that is sport. RollerDerbyElite.com.
And we are ready to get back into the action. Sinchioko, power start for the Philippines. Good offensive play by Acosta, breaking up that wall, and it's just enough space for Sinchioko to push through Rick Rold. Lead jammer going to the Philippines.
There's no more time on this half.
It's like you read my mind, Mel. I was just looking at that clock ticking down.
Sinchioko getting some air and calling that jam off. 3 points added to the Philippines score. And they will go into halftime with a very solid lead, 109, playing Poland's 58. Check out that replay there. Oh, no, we're back live. And we will be having an intermission, and we will see you back here in about 10 minutes. And we are back, second half here of Philippines versus Poland. Philippines went in quite strong to that half time, 109. They are leading Poland 58.
Yeah, very strong start by Philippines. Philippines playing in white, Poland playing in red. Philippines really solid with their defense. Poland doing a fantastic job as well. We've seen quite a few penalties picked up on either side. Just clarified through, we've got Philippines have got Bruce Payne on 4 penalties, Danny Busuego on 3 jammer penalties, and Cole Terrell on 3 jammer penalties. Whereas on the flip side with Poland, they only have Photon Torpedo on 3 penalties, 2 of which have been jammer, 1 has been as a blocker. Poland, of course, bringing in 4 additional players over the Philippines squad, so they're playing with a full 15 for Poland, 11 starting for the Philippines. And this is Terrell up against Pika. These two jammers have come up against each other a fair few times in this game already. It is Terrell out at the front. There's some offensive play from Vasquez, and it's Terrell who gets lead for Philippines. Pika comes slamming into the side on the outside of turn number 3. And Mejia has to let him go. So Poland's jammer breaking, but we already have a full scoring pass from Terrell. That jam now ending 4-0. Next jam, we're going to see Photon Torpedo back on the track for the Polish team up against Buswega for the Philippines.
Photon Torpedo trying to push his way through the middle. Buswega a little bit more sway in those feet. Sends a Polish jammer to the cheese ball bearing penalty box and pulls lead jammer.
Ooh, Brutal Impact, who was just released from the cheese balls bearings penalty box, returning back in for Poland. So they only have 2 blockers on track. Just as I say that, Little Joker, the pivot for Poland, also being sent off. So they have 1 blocker in the form of Black Blizzard, who makes impact but does not knock out Buswego. Photon Torpedo now breaking and just hot on Buswego's heels. Poland 1 blocker on track. And Buswego with a nice easy pass to pick up a full 4 points for the Philippines. Penalty heavy jam there for Poland.
Certainly was. And the gap is fairly steady. Philippines 68 points ahead.
Good maths.
You tried.
You tried, you succeeded.
Terrell back on the jammer line for the Philippines. This is his 10th jam for the game. And that's his 8th lead.
Wow.
8 out of 10 lead jam statuses.
Many jammers would love to have that statistic against their name for a game. Lovely work dicing to the outside and back in that inside line as well.
Filipino defense very effectively holding the goat and depleting the blocking power of Poland. Terrell being drawn back to turn 4.
Yeah, Rick Rolled and Lil Joker doing a good duo job of the knockout and the run back. Brutal Impact trying to take out, but Poland have been split apart.
And not quite enough impact to take him all the way to the line, and perhaps could have stayed with him rather than trying to knock him out. But a cut being called on radar, and he is going to the cheese ball bearing penalty box. Another power jam for Terrell. Poland just reforming that wall. But 5-point pass there. It was his 3rd time grabbing 15 points. And you might see where the official review has been called.
Visual review being called by the captain, and that is Terrell. So I'm assuming it would be regarding some impact that he had upon himself during the game.
3 15-point jams, though, fairly significant.
Wow. That's a good leap up for the Philippines to take ahead.
And this is the guy that you've got doing, what's that, 10 jams now, of which 8 of them got him lead.
Poland's still fighting, though, still fighting for their cause, still fighting for their pride. I had a very brief chat to one of the Polish players, Little Joker, just in the intermission, who said that himself and the team are just loving this game. They're really enjoying it, really getting their teeth into it. So despite being behind at halftime and still remaining behind, they're still giving everything that they can do in this game. as we can see, they're pulling, as we said, they're pulling quite a few penalties on the Philippines. Philippines going into the second half a little bit cleaner than Poland have done. Poland picking up the majority of the penalties in the past 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Which makes it sound terrible. They have picked up quite a few in that short space of time, but we've had a few jams in that short space of time as well. Low level of star passing in this game, 2 for Poland, only 1 for the Philippines. Thank you to Exterminate for that information. We're just receiving details of the official review.
Gives us an opportunity to tell you about Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch Skate Shop is the largest derby-owned and operated store in Europe. They operate online and in a physical store. They're heavily involved.
White team have elected to use their official review to review the lack of an out-of-play call on the red blocker at the foremost of the engagement zone. Red 1-3 will be issued an out-of-play block.
Jay Ladal for Poland. Number 1-3 is being issued an out-of-play block at the end of the previous jam. So the Philippines win and retain their official review and place one of Poland's teams in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box at the start of this power start. Oh, cutting penalty issued to Mahia. First time back on this half. I believe that is Mahia's 4th penalty as well. So the 3 main jammers for the Philippines all giving away 3 power jams apiece.
Radar using sheer power and determination to get through. And he picks up lead jammer status as well, so he can call this jam off if he wants to. And it's the first time that they have managed to pick up lead jam status in 9 jams.
Oh, Radar, however, picking up a cut penalty himself. That is his 4th jammer penalty in this game. Mahia released now, back on track. Poland lining themselves up, almost working in pairs for this. Is it going to work to their benefit? They're now brought up to a 3 at the front. Mad Science now just taken down to the ground as Mahia throws that shoulder through, and that is going through Jay Ladal to break free the front of the pack. Radar returning to the track, and the Philippines dragging out the pack from turn number 4 all the way back to turn number 3.
And Poland back to using a 3-wall, which seems to be way more effective than just trying to block individually. Mayer now going backwards and forwards, trying to make his way through. No pack called, and that forces Mad Science to let Mahia through.
Mahia was doing a very good job of rocking that Polish wall to try and create some space for his shoulders to go through. Once he got his shoulders in, he just drove forward to push them out of play, and they had to let go. We have a quick look at that cut penalty that's just come through, which is just the end of that penalty issue that came through there.
Thanks to vmix.com for these replays. They have certainly make the game more interesting. On the jammer line, we have Picker again, and he is up against Busuego.
Busuego taken to the inside line, recycled back by Little Joker, but does a diagonal run, almost breaks around the outside. Rick Roll just managing to hold and drive back behind the pivot line. And there's space at the front for Pika. Vasquez last line of defense, and Pika picks up lead jammer for Poland, breaking their loss of lead streak. And not only have they got lead, they've also now got a power jam in the shape of Busuego going to the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. Gregski for Poland with a very good break on that wall.
And Pika almost shrugging his way through on his pass.
Philippines split apart. There's 2 at the front to hold. Sintioko with the knockdown, but it's not off track, and they have a little bit of a jumble to get through. It looks like Cruz just took Sintioko down to the ground. Salvador sliding through to try and get back together with his teammates. Oh, wonderful, wonderful play, Salvador. Just enough distraction to provide that offense for Basuego.
Pica adding another 4 on that pass. But with Basuego back on the track, sensibly calls that jam off. You see Pica getting back to his feet here, dodging and weaving, getting past Cruz. And that was a very successful jam for Poland. 14 points added to their score. They're now sitting on 75 points, but the Philippines on 146. And Filipino jammer Terrell indicating to his blockers that he wants them all the way up at the pivot line.
And therefore they are. Oh, Acosta with the final hit there on Photon Torpedo, but that inside line is looking quite dangerous from where I'm sat. Oh, it's the outside line that yields the benefits. Both Terrell and Photon Torpedo bouncing through to the outside line and both breaking free. The pack is now speeding up, and they are about halfway behind the two jammers who are fighting against each other. Terrell
hanging back.
Yeah.
He just calls that jam off.
Very good timing. He actually cleared Sintioko out from the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. So really good work there by the captain, just to be aware that even though he may have lost the jammer battle, he could still gain something from that jam. Here's that outside.
That VMAX replay showing you the outside line.
Yeah, very good work for both jammers to go from the inside on the apex straight through to the outside and both break through the pack. Takes a lot of power as well as agility to pull that through. Mejia up against Adam. Adam, fourth time jamming for Team Poland. Just managing to push through. This is one determined player breaking free, but the lead has already gone to Mejia, who's half a lap ahead, just entering into the back of the pack. Stumbles through, calls that jam to an end, and collects 2 points for the Philippines.
We're starting to see a few more knocks and bumps, a few players sort of coming off the track, holding their face, you know, holding their arm a bit.
It's a very fatiguing game. It's hard, heavy hitting. There's a lot of work going on here for both sides. And I think that's having a lot of an impact. Again, going from the half-hour games up to the hour-long games will be having an impact on these teams who, as we know, are quite new in playing together.
Terrell streaking through the inside line, taking the lead jammer status again. Pica dancing on the outside line, avoiding a track cut. Pica taken to the ground. Terrell being taken out as well, but Terrell calling that jam off before Pica could add any points to the score. 3 extra points for the Philippines. Let's check out the VMix replay. Just guided out of bounds there with Terrell streaking on the inside line.
Photon Torpedo jamming for Poland, goes for the outside line, but is knocked off track. And lead going to Basuego, but Photon Torpedo just behind. There's probably 10 feet between the two jammers as they now hit the back of the pack on turn number 2. Basuego calling that jam to an end. As Little Joker, the pivot for Poland, was sent to the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. Some clarification on the jammer points currently taking place, and it is a 0-0 jam.
So 0-0 is for that jam.
Philippines.
Because there wasn't there wasn't a player passed by the jammer.
No.
If the player was passed, they would have got 2 points for that, because you get 1 on the track, 1 in the penalty box.
You're completely correct, Mel. So even though Buswego was looking for the points at the end of that jam, he did need to pass somebody legally on track, which did not happen.
And St Augustine jamming for the first time. He's worn the pivot stripe a few times in this game and in previous games, but this is the first time that he's starting off as a jammer. He's in the white for Philippines.
And he has been issued lead. Just breaking for the pack now, Pika. But Augustine is in a scoring position, knocked to the outside line.
That was by Rick Rold, team captain for Poland. And Buswego back on the, sorry, pardon me, Terrell back on the jammer line for the Philippines. He's done the lion's share of the jams today. Between Buswego and Terrell, they have jammed 22 out of the last 29 jams. So very high rotation.
Oh,
And Poland jamming for the first time is Jay Liddell. Liddell with all of the speed there. Terrell with the star in hand, knocking Liddell out of play.
oh.
Drawing him back to turn 3.
Liddell giving a little cheeky knock himself. And they both reset back into the pack. Liddell knocked down and out, recycled by Vasquez as Terrell breaks for the initial pass. Of course, Liddell is in a scoring position already, calls that jam to an end, and that's 3 points for Poland. First set of points for Poland in the last 6 jams. So yeah, being controlled by Philippines, but starting to break that control. So we said new jammer, so fresh feet out on the track. Just changing a few things up. Speaking of changing a few things up, we're going to see Sintioko jamming for the Philippines. He's jammed twice before, so again another set of fresh feet the Philippines are fielding. But Poland are going with a staple jammer in their supply, Photon Torpedo. We're just going to take a brief official timeout.
And you may have noticed that our penalty box is sponsored by Cheese Ball Bearings. Cheese Ball Bearings, find your stride with the original handmade bearings. You can check them out at cheeseballbearings.com.
Officials now resetting themselves. We are coming up to the final quarter of this game. 78 for Poland in the red, Philippines 155 in the white. As we start off on a very steady start. Oh, wow, Photon Torpedo racing up that inside line.
Nobody expected that. Sintioko still stuck behind a wall of red. And Photon Torpedo catching the Filipino blockers, napping, sneaks through for a 5-point pass. It's just that little bit of acceleration as he gets past those blockers that's making all the difference. Blockers catch him that time, sending him back to turn 1. But a forearm block sends Sintioko to the cheese ball bearing penalty box.
So total control now for Poland. They have lead, they have points, and they've now got a power jam in their favor. That inside line, Poland are holding it open. Doesn't need a lot, but Photon Torpedo takes any gap he can get through that inside line.
That's his 3rd scoring pass, 5 each time.
And once more, a bit of space. This time Torpedo goes for the outside, but Acosta with the shoulder hit, and that run back is being issued by Joe Cruz. Star pass has been initiated by the Philippines, and we are now seeing Mejia as the active jammer. Rick rolled with a good knockout, taken back and out himself by Sintioko.
Photon Torpedo calling the rest of that off. That was only his second time, only his second jam where he managed to put points on the board. And he certainly made a cracker of it, looking him busting on through the pack there to get his lead jammer status. And that was an 18-point jam for Poland.
Good jump up from them. They were 76 points behind just a few jams ago. They're closing it up, so we are now looking at 59 points between the two teams. Pika staying on the track, and that inside line once again providing the fruits for Poland.
And I see a jammer panty on the track. Buswego doesn't seem to realize he's not wearing his helmet cover.
Looking to the crowd.
Minding the helmet cover. Cash sitting over the top, but not as efficiently as he could have. The depleted wall of blockers for Poland making the difference there. They could have really held him ransom to that.
They could. I think it's just being a little bit sensible, knowing that they've had quite a few penalties in the past couple of jams, and they want to keep this control in their favor.
4 points for Pika again. Poland starting to flex their muscle, a little third lead in a row.
Oh, a straightaway jump attempted.
Nearly collecting two of the referees, though.
Buswego still trying to work through. And Salvador doing a good job with Bruce Payne to hold Pika on that inside line. Philippines have reset and recycled as they do so effectively, and it's also given space for Buswego to get points.
And Pika a little bit fatigued by that jam. Look at the replay there of the straightaway jump. That's a VMix replay brought to you. And you can see 12 points added to Poland's score.
Captain Terrell lining up a few feet, about 10 feet behind the jammer line, with Photon Torpedo being rallied straight away into that wall, white wall of the Philippines, taken to the inside line. He was aiming for that. Oh, was aiming for the inside line run. Oh no, I thought that was clean, but it is a cut penalty issued on Terrell for that run at the outside, and that gives space for Photon Torpedo to pick up lead.
And that acceleration that he pulls out at the last minute has really served him well there.
Oh.
Managed to keep his toe in check. That's a 5-point pass for him.
It was a very bizarre way of doing it as well. His lower body stayed upright, his upper body just leant away from the track to avoid any potential hits that were coming through. Going through like an L-shaped Tetris brick, if that's any definition that you want to take. Photon Torpedo now just really doing a good job of avoiding the hits from the Philippines. And this is really closing down the points. Oh no! Terrell returns back to the track and is immediately issued with a back block penalty.
Just over 10 minutes left in this game. It's these power jams that are going to make all the difference for Poland. Photon Torpedo needing another break to make a difference. He's got 2 to beat.
It's Acosta with the stop, but 4 points collected by Poland in that last pass. 14-point jam for Poland.
And that's 41 points difference.
That's really starting to clock down. We have over 10 minutes left still in this game as the Philippines take a timeout to recoup and try and break some of the momentum that Poland have brought now into the game.
Well, Poland actually clawing their way back. The lead jammer status is now a little bit more even than they were before.
This is still quite an exciting game. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us on the M14 Industries track here at MRDWC 2018.
Well, with just over 10 minutes left in the game and only 41 points the difference, it really could go any which way.
Oh, absolutely.
We are going to have a little bit of a break. I do see 2 of the Polish players just getting a little bit of attention, a little bit of a touch-up from the first aiders.
Yeah, one of them being the captain, Rick Rold, who I believe is just clarifying the treatment being given to his teammates.
An interesting thing I have not seen in roller derby before is the helmets that have a little bit of a peak on it.
Yes.
Keep the sun out of their eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sure how that works indoors, but we have Gregski jamming for the first time for Poland, and he's got one of those peaks on his helmet.
It may be to ensure that the cover is attached easily.
A big strip of Velcro would have done that too. Here's lead jammer for Poland.
But Terrell out from the penalty box and fighting through now.
Terrell with such a beautiful, smooth skating style, ducking under those Polish blockers there. One to beat, but the jam gets cold. He gets his 3 points. Poland, however, getting 4. So they sneak ahead by that 1 net point difference.
Poland fielding 4 blockers into this next jam. Philippines will be fielding 3. Bruce Payne in a little bit of a dangerous situation. He's sitting his 6th penalty in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box currently.
And each player allowed to have 7 penalties before they are asked to leave the game. And there is still 8 3/4 minutes left to play. And Basuego bringing the first lead for the Philippines in the last 6 jams. Bruce Payne joining the track now. Vasquez getting his blockers to form up the front, but having to let Pico through to avoid the destruction of pack penalty. And now having to do some uniform maintenance before being allowed to get back on the track. He is losing valuable time by having to fix up those elbow pads.
I've just seen Bruce Payne heading to the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. So I believe he may well be asked to be switched with another player.
We did see Mad Science sitting down in the penalty box. He was indicating with his fingers some numbers, but we don't actually know what those numbers mean. Perhaps he was indicating that Bruce Payne was on his 7th penalty, and Bruce has been fouled out of the game. So we've got Salvador sitting his penalty now.
He may well have been indicating how much time he had left remaining. That's often a very good tactic to use. A very quick jam there by the Philippines, holding Poland to 0, picking up 3 for themselves. But unfortunately not able to retain that blocker for Poland in the penalty box, and instead just holding their own blocker, and that is the substituted Salvador in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. Philippines with a little bit of a stretch out now, 44 points ahead. They're on 174 to 130 of Poland. If you are just joining us, where have you been? Philippines are in white, Poland are playing in red.
Pico nearly tipping over, having to go back to behind the jammer line. Salvador joining the track now from the Cheese Ball Bearings penalty box.
Mejia just trying to shimmy on through and manages to pull a penalty on the Polish blocker, number 614. So that takes their track down to just 3 to get past. Slides through, taken down to his knees, but back up. Oh, we've got everybody visiting the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box right now. That's Gregski and Rick Rold.
And you may have seen Jay Ledal skate backwards to the bench, indicating that he was not certain that a correct penalty was called. We'll see if Poland actually asked for an official review. There are fewer German penalties in this second period compared to the first, but it's not really a big thing to say considering how many Jammer penalties there were in that first half.
There were a fair few. We have both jammers now currently on the track. And that jam comes to an end. No points scored on the final pass, but 8 for Philippines, 4 for Poland in the jam. Poland on 134, Philippines on 182.
So Philippines managing to claw a bit more distance in the scoreline.
We're into the last 5 minutes of this game. It is logistically, statistically possible for Poland to now still pull it back, but they're going to have to work pretty hard. They're fielding Gregski, but an inside line wonderful dance by Terrell, the captain, gives lead to the Philippines. Gregski just powering through, jamming in a very
out of the way.
Jamming in a very similar style to Adam, who was jamming for them previously as a backup jammer for Poland. Oh, heavy
very big
hit.
Someone is going, and that is Gregski going to the cheese ball bearing penalty box for a back block. Polish blocker on the ground as well, and that is brutal impact.
Terrell picking up a no pass, no point on Mad Science. Poland setting up a 2+1 wall at the front, just coming into turn number 4. Philippines with just 2 blockers on track.
2 more returning to the track from the cheese ball bearing penalty box now, though.
And they were
leaving Poland at a severe disadvantage here, a 4-3 pack.
Yeah.
In this power jam.
Oh, Vasquez going in with some very quick offensive play. About 30 feet before the jammer hit the back of the pack, but he manages to break Mad Science away from the wall.
All players returning to the track now.
And Gregski just getting around Cruz and Santiago as Terrell gets slowed down on turn number 1.
And Gregski adding 4 to Poland's score.
Interesting work there by Terrell, just standing in, ensures he can see both the jammer referee and the action on the track before he calls that jam to an end.
Poland calling a time out. It's been a super close game for all of this time. There's only 3 minutes left. Terrell chatting to the head referee. Scoreboard, as you can see, 15 points added from that jam for the Philippines, 4 points added for Poland. Philippines sitting comfortably on 197, Poland on 138. Still possible for Poland to pull this game off, but not terribly likely, I would say.
This is these
59 points difference.
Yeah, 3rd time that the Philippines have put up a double-figure score in this half. But they have plenty from the first half, which is how they've managed to rack up quite a good tally going into this final few minutes of this game, just short of the double century. Poland, by the looks of it, therefore, a far more defensive game in the second half if they're able to hold the Philippines down. Actually, no, that would be more of an offensive game, breaking their jammer out. I correct myself with my strategies. So Poland playing slightly more offensive play. Certainly managing to close down the larger jams for the Philippines. Photon torpedo knocked to the outside, but up at the front, getting around the side surfing hips of Little Joker. The lead jammer goes to Bisuego.
Bisuego directing traffic as he comes on through. Ducks under 2 to get through on a 5-point pass.
That's not a...
Photon torpedo trying to get through. Does so.
Scrappy,
and
but
completes his initial pass. I thought he might have got a no pass, no point situation, but he did actually pass all the players legally. It's of no consequence though. Check out this replay from VMix.
there he goes, nice and low, Bisuego. Big jump to the inside line, just avoiding that incoming hit.
Just almost swatting players as he goes past. Out of my way, Poland.
Not today. I like this. Every time they're coming in, Poland and Philippines, they're all giving each other high fives and handshakes. Almost every jam they're coming in. They're both teams really enjoying their time here at the MRDWC 2018.
It has been a very positive tournament on the whole.
Radar being sent off for a back blocking penalty. That is Radar's 5th penalty, and 5th penalty is a jammer in this game.
Terrell getting lead jam. He's pretty excited about that.
He's got plenty of control because there's more time on the jammer clock than there is on the period clock. So if he wanted to, he could just dilly-dally and run the clock down. Looks like he's going to give us some action at least coming into the Polish 3 defensive wall, but I'm certain he'll be playing this as clean as he possibly can.
He did just quite easily step past Gregsky. Gregsky with another focus. And Terrell accelerating his way out. A 5-point pass for the Philippines.
Philippines doing that with just 2 blockers on track. They're now back up to the full solid 4. And Terrell is now just taking his time. He stood here on turn number 4, whilst the pack remains up at turn number 1. He's looking at the time. He's signaling to the Polish box, okay, we'll give you guys a bit more of a game. Seconds are counting down, 5 left on the period clock. And that is the end of the period clock. Terrell has seen it. He's coming in nice and steady.
He's the lead jammer.
He is. He's just watching that jammer clock tick down.
And he does finally call that jam off. Curious tactics going on there with Terrell.
He initially stopped. He wanted to play very clean and just wait for that clock to block down, but he stopped right in front of the Polish bench and then decided, actually, this isn't the nicest way to finish this game, so let's carry on and have at least a bit of action, although he did take it very gently going in.
And that is the final score awarded. Philippines 216, victorious over Poland 138. And that has been a tremendous journey for both teams. Very first men's roller derby World Cup for both countries. They've really done themselves proud.
They have indeed. Poland will finish in 24th place. Philippines will finish in 23rd, but I'm certain we will see these teams back at the next incarnation of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup, and they will be fighting to place much higher the next time round.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. There will certainly be more derby to come in a few short minutes. My name is Melodrama.
And I'm Holly. We've been joined also by Exterminate, our wonderful producer, who's been feeding all those wonderful, glorious statistics through to us.
Thank you, Exterminator. You make us look clever.